超集権のメディアはもう終わりだ。
真相から立ち上るインクと真実がぶつかる。レバヤさんニュース開かれ海嘘はない。読んで書いて氷結しろ。力はみんなのもの。イカスミをたたえろ。ニュースは君のものだ。レバヤさんニュース。レバヤさんニュース。
Just a second. What's up, everyone? DAdvisoor here with Leviathan news. Let me pop up the logo back on. And I'm actually always enjoying doing streams on Thursday. I think it's because I was born at Thursday night. So these are like my time, my hours. And it's always really nice to have someone on the show for the first time. And I've been actually looking forward to this one for quite a while. I'm here with Mathieu from Octav. I hope I said it right. Sir.
Perfectly, Mathieu. Yeah, it's perfect. It's
Mathieu.
French, so it's all good. Matthew's good.
Yeah, Mathieu.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you so
Cool.
much for joining. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good. It's pretty right. I think it's night for you. It's an evening for me. It's really nice. So thanks for having me today. It's pretty cool.
Thank you for joining, and really looking forward to this one. And by the way, I will give a shout out to Atreus. That's how I learned about Octav for the first time. So shout out to him for approaching. And it actually made me notice your account after I noticed like your main account, the Octav one. And I really enjoy many of your takes. So much respect and really appreciate you coming on. And also, I will be honest, like a transparent, I really enjoyed talking to you yesterday when we had like a short intro call. So thank you for that as well. Looking forward to dive with you into Octav and your personal journey and stuff like that. Let me just, before that, present the SQUID Pass winners of the week. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but on Leviathan News, because we're like a media collective, okay? Today we're like governed by what we call SQUID DAO, okay? Basically the SQUID holders vote. There's also actually a vote right now open for the distribution of the rewards for February, actually. So we're voting on like for the contribution. So SQUID voters, please go to Snapshot and check it out. And each week we have the SQUID Pass auction, meaning that whoever wins it gets the pinned posts on our Telegram and X for the week to deliver their message to our audience, and also shout out on our screen, on our streams, sorry. And this week, it's actually Palliora. Let me pop it up here on screen. There it is. All right. Palliora, superagency for human AI coordination. Share, monetize, and compute privately on your data with selective disclosure, verifiable results, and fair rewards. Thank you so much for choosing Leviathan News. Guys, shout out Kaizen. Really appreciate your bid here. And guys, check out Palliora. You can find the link. You can find them at palliora.org, PALLIORA.org. You can also find them at Palliora on X, and you can find the pinned posts. You can find them on our pinned posts on Telegram and X on Leviathan News. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your support and choosing Leviathan News. And okay, Mathieu, Before we get into Octav and before you start showing us what that actually is, which if I understand correctly is a portfolio
A lot of
managing
stuff.
tool?
Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
you, how would you describe it?
Yeah, we're a data provider for asset manager. That's kind of like the quick one-liner. But we have a portfolio, we have an API, we have a lot of stuff behind the scene also. So yeah.
Very cool. I'll let you present it because you'll do a much better job at it than I will. And with such a product, it's also very cool that you can show a lot of stuff on
Yep.
screen for us, hopefully. But before that, I actually want to ask you, like, give us a short intro about yourself, your own journey. You told me that you're quite a veteran in the space, like really from like 2012, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I started in 2012, 13. I was a Bitcoin miner. Quite early, I'm a robotic engineer in biotech, and then I was mining Bitcoin with, at the time, it was still GPU. CPU was like the end. We started GPU, and then quickly went FPGA. With my background, I was able to kind of play with that a little bit, and then we went to ASIC quite quickly. I still remember like in miner S1 and all this. That was kind of the good time. Mined Bitcoin for a few years, then started to also mine Ethereum right when it launched. I'm from Montreal, Canada, so quite lucky because Vitalik is from Toronto, so it was a small community at the time. I was able to be close to him at the beginning, to be able to like understand Ethereum really quickly. We had the Bitcoin embassy back in the time in Montreal, quite early, and so yeah, I've done that since 2012, 13. And then I moved to California quickly to work at biotech. That's my background. I lived there for 4 years. I was in biotech, and then we sold the company to Johnson and Johnson. I came back in,
Oh,
sold to Johnson and Johnson like in 2019, and then I moved to Google. When I was at Google, the goal was to sell the company to Johnson and Johnson. So that was kind of my biotech world. During that time, I was still mining in Canada. Electricity is cheap, it's cold, and my friend was still here, so we had a pretty good facility there mining Bitcoin and Ethereum. I came back in Canada in 2020 during COVID, actually, for COVID, because the company was sold and I needed to go back to Canada for my visa. So I came back and then just jumped full time in crypto, like really just instead of trying to find another job in biotech, just say, hey, let's go in crypto. We've been in this forever. Now let's do that as a full-time job. Was pretty interesting. Like 2019 was kind of the DeFi summer. Like Compound and Synthetex was the first one. All this, and so we've jumped really quickly. Me and my co-founder into DeFi. We've done almost everything that exists in DeFi, and then I've joined Zapper as a strategy lead. My goal there was kind of like trying to bring more visibility about DeFi, like what's the next trend, where should we go, and so on, because I was quite deep into DeFi. I left quickly after like a few months because I wanted to build my own stuff and just like build something more for professional. So we built Octav for this. The goal of Octav was really to build, at first, more a tax platform, more like related to like how can you do reporting, reconciling. And then the more we were building around that, the more we realized that the data was really crucial for this. And so we've started Octav in 2022. It's been about a bit more than 4 years now. And then Octav, like from the high level, and we'll talk about it more deeply, but the high level is we provide the data that trader, asset manager, family office, hedge fund, high net worth individual need to either do their taxes. Yes, that's a painful thing, but it's important. But also track their asset for risk management, or just like tracking for knowing what's your asset, where it's going, and all that. So support something like 7,000 protocols, 65 chain, and it's an aggregation of different service provider with our own indexing and a bunch of stuff. So that's kind of too long to read. A short story of who am I, and I've been like quite deep into DeFi since the beginning. So I'm part of a group called DCV Capital. It's a small group. It's pretty calm these days, but it's a group that we invested pretty early. So I've done about 50, 55 deal of angel in DeFi. I really focus on anything DeFi. At Octav, for the first 4 years, we never had like any centralized exchange. We recently had a centralized exchange because it was requested by a lot of our users, and like we see more cooperation between centralized exchange and DeFi, and some people needed that as a client. So we've added that, but we're really focused on DeFi really. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at right now. And then yeah, happy to show some demo and discuss more stuff for sure.
Looking forward. Thank you so much for an incredible intro, actually. Wow, you did so much stuff. I had no idea that you were also in biotech and the Johnson and Johnson store. I don't know, maybe you said something yesterday and I missed it, but wow, that's actually quite crazy. So what actually made you, by the way, before we get into Octav, I'm curious, like what actually made you like do this? Because it's a huge switch.
Yeah, I mean, biotech is really slow. If anyone works at biotech, I'm sorry, but it's like super regulated. It took us, I think, 2.5 years to be approved by the government of the US, like the FDA. So it's like really, really slow. It's super capital intensive. My first company, we were at Aris Surgical, and I think we've raised like something like 800 million. It was completely insane, the number of money we had to raise to just be able to build something. And so when I got out of the exit, I was a small owner of this, so I got a little bit of a kickback. So it was kind of like, okay, I have some financial freedom a little bit. So I was like, what's next? What I can do? And to me, crypto was way more important in my eyes to say okay, biotech is great. You can build robotic, and I'm still interested. I follow robotics, especially right now with AI. There's a lot of AI and robotic stuff, humanoid stuff, and everything like that. So it's kind of cool. But crypto for me was the core because it's money, right? So when you can move money around, when you can really control your own money, and we spoke about it a little bit yesterday, but controlling was something crazy. I found crypto, I didn't explain that, but I found crypto back in the time in 2012 and 13 because I went in Nicaragua when I was really young, 17, 18, and then in 2012 Nicaragua was not going well, and they were the money was completely out of control. Inflation was insane, and then I was like, can I see what's happening in Nicaragua? Why is it not going well now? This and I figured that I could not have a lot of the information, also some link to Leviathan news on what's happening there, because in Canada they don't care about that. They didn't want to discuss about, hey, Nicaragua money is not going well. So there was no news. So I decided to say, how can I get this? And I went on the darknet. I was like, okay, this is where I can get all the information. Everything is there. And that's where I found that some of the people from Nicaragua were actually buying Bitcoin to get out of their currency. And so that's how I really realized yeah, okay, we're lucky. I'm from Canada and I moved to the US and stuff like that. So I'm lucky. I never had my money inflating like crazy or losing my bank account or stuff like that. But there's a lot of country, and you told me that yesterday, where you can lose your bank account, they can lock you out, and that's kind of crazy. And we've seen it in Canada recently, in the last few years with during COVID and stuff. So it's kind of crazy, and that's why I was like, okay, biotech is nice if I can build a robot that do something, but money is actually where the real innovation will happen. If you can move, if you can control money and move money correctly and make sure everyone have access to everything, that's where you can really make the change happen. So.
I definitely resonate with that. We mentioned it earlier that money is just the disguise of crypto in a way, because it's so much actually about the freedom aspect of money is controlling the money and the assets is actually just a type of freedom rather than them being basically at the mercy of the intermediary, which they so often are, especially when you don't think about it. And you're right, in the Western world often you don't even think about it, but all of a sudden there comes a moment. For me, as I told you again yesterday, the moment where with the truck drivers in Canada, back then, and Jesse Powell from Kraken declaration that to telling people to get their money out of Kraken because he won't be able to protect it. For me, it's a very crucial moment in my own journey. I'm not a veteran as you. Not in crypto nor in business for sure, after what you're sharing here, but I was in a way, like, yeah, it's a pivotal moment for me as well, because I was like, oh my God, like,
They can lock you out.
self-custody is actually the point. Like, up till then, I had like my money kind of split up between centralized exchanges and my own wallet, which was very new to me at that time. But after that, I was like, oh my God, even that guy says that, and he has an exchange of his own. Like, okay, I'm
Jesse's
done,
a super nice guy.
Sorry.
Yeah, I said Jesse's a really nice guy. Like I met him really early back in the time of Bitcoin, and like when he started Kraken, I was like, wow, okay, like that guy is like, I know him. Like he's a like DeFi, really focused crypto, but he's starting a centralized exchange. So I was like, there's a reason for that. And I mean, like you said yesterday when we talk about that, like there's a need for centralized exchange, sadly, because of on-ramp and off-ramp. It's really hard to do that. And that's where we still need to do a lot of work for DeFi to be like more mainstream and work for everyone. But I think it's crucial that we keep fighting for decentralization and self-custody and privacy also. I'm really glad like in the last few months, Vitalik and other like voice of the ecosystem, we're talking a lot about privacy. And I think it's important. I know people are always afraid because they always say privacy is going to be linked to like criminal activity and all that, but it's also just like being able to move your own asset without sharing that. Like fun fact, when I do angel check, I don't want to send my money from my own wallet so that the team that I'm sending money can see all my assets and all the stuff I have. So how do you do that? Like right now, sadly, a lot of people will use centralized exchange as a kind of a honeypot. They send the money to the centralized exchange, send that to a different like on-chain wallet. And now it's really hard to track like, hey, is that the same money or not? So it's kind of crazy that the centralized exchange are supposed to be the KYC one and more like anti-criminal, but actually people use that to like hide their money to be able to do stuff privately on chain. So we need to work on a better privacy system that can be fully transparent if you want to like report that to your government or fiscal or whatever, but having the right to have your privacy that this is my money and you don't need to know about it, that's super crucial. It's really, really important. So
yeah, like they say, I know that shout out Amin Suleimani, he often says that he has privacy pools. I'm sure you're familiar. Like he says, like, and I'm sure that many others say that as well. Like privacy is a right, not a crime. Like privacy is not a crime. Like
100%. I love privacy pool. I was pretty early. I used Tornado, full disclosure, and then I met Amin multiple times, and I have the good T-shirt of Tornado. Big fan of this, but I think privacy pool is a good update, right? Because you can have the privacy, but if you need, you can report and say, hey, these are my full transaction. I have a proof of that, but I still keep my privacy on chain. So I think this is something, these projects to me should be bigger than other projects that I see that are not bringing real power to the ecosystem. But we live in a world of human, and greed is part of it. So it's part of why these projects that should have a lot more visibility don't have the visibility they deserve. So
yeah. I agree. Like privacy is on the rise, and as the industry grows and matures, I'm convinced that like the demand for privacy is about to rise.
Will grow. Yeah, 100%.
People just need it. So, by the way, like you say that you were on Zapper as well.
So yeah, I joined Zapper in 2021. Just started there, like, because I was really early in the Zapper ecosystem. Seb is from Montreal, the co-founder. He was back at the time. He was co-founder with Suel and Nadir, another guy. There were three, and I was really early in Synthetex and Compound, which was like the first kind of protocol in DeFi, and so I needed a place to track that. So I started to be really active on the Zapper Discord, and we started to talk. And Seb's like, "Oh, I'm from Montreal, me too." So we kind of like started to talk a little bit about like DeFi. And then when I was looking for a job, I reached out to him and say, "Hey, you know me, we've been around in DeFi. I've been around like for quite some time. Let's see if it makes sense." So if I've joined them to see what I could do there and how I can help them. Didn't work out. The vision was a bit different, where I really wanted to have like a data house, powerhouse for anyone that wanted to trade. Zapper went into multiple pivot. I don't know what they do anymore that much. I know they have data. They're a lot related to Forecaster, which what I've seen, but they pivoted a lot. Some people left, co-founder left a little bit, so it's been a bit different since some time. And then we built Octav because I was like, okay, I need something a bit more powerful, a bit more like tailor to my need that I needed. So that's kind of the idea. But yeah, Octav was like, okay, let's build this. Let's build what institutional people need, what family office need, and all that. So that was also why we decided to like split and build Octav. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so take us through it. Like, how does Octav differs from like other portfolio managing tools or information tools? Just give us the pitch.
Yeah, so when we started Octav, I was at Zapper before. I knew really well DBank. We know Zerion. There's a ton of people that were building portfolio, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go fight against these guys. They've been around for quite some time. Like, just don't repeat the same thing. So when we started, I told my co-founders, like, how can we build something that will actually use this platform or use this data to kind of grow faster and make sure you capture all the long tail. And so when we started Octav, we actually started to build a machine learning system with RLHF. RLHF stands for reinforcement learning with human feedback. So the focus was, everyone was focusing on the protocol position, so your portfolio. But the portfolio comes from the transaction. So you need to build something from the transaction that is clean enough that will help you build a portfolio. And so when we started Octav, we said, okay, how can we do that? And we started to build the machine learning. We call that Brian the Brain. And then what it does is that every time someone go on Octav and will interact with a transaction, Brian will figure out like, okay, this person interacted with XYZ contract. We don't know what is XYZ contract, but this user know it because he interacted with the contract. And so the user will tell us, okay, this contract is Curve, for example. Well, now I have one data point that tells me that this user told me that this contract belonged to Curve. I cannot trust this person right away because people could come and game everything and kind of like messed up our data. So we create a system where there's a reputation system. You have to give us a lot of information to make sure that we can trust your input. And then we take every user we have input and we match that together and we let the machine learning say, okay, well, I have a confidence level of 90% up that this contract belongs to Curve. Let's tag that at Curve. Now we know it. Now that we know that this contract is Curve, can we go look at the ABI and kind of like try to index that and understand how it works on the portfolio level? And that's how we build Octav. So it's really from, instead of being from the protocol level, it's really from the transaction level and going to the protocol level. We still have protocol indexation like Outer One. We were using a lot of SonarWatch. SonarWatch was sold to Jupyter. And so we took all the open source and then we kind of like nurture that one and we keep building around that. We use DBank as one source of data also to kind of compare that. We work closely with DeFi Llama. Shout out to that, and GMI is one of my good friends. And we decided to say like, look, Llama Folio, we're trying to do something also, a portfolio decentralized. Like a lot of people try some stuff. We say, let's take this one and let's build around that. So build with SonarWatch on DBank with our our own indexer. And so it became kind of a big master of multiple aggregation together. Our price feed will come from our own pricing system, from DeFi Llama pricing, from CoinGecko, and therefore we can add an average about all of that. So it's always trying to bring like better quality to the data. And that's what we got from our customer. When we started to have a few customers, people were like, wow, how can you get this data so accurately? How can the data be so good? I know I'm the CEO, I'm biased, but the idea was clear. Is that, well, we don't fool ourselves. We know that getting all the data for crypto is super complex. Let's use a tool that exists, but let's enrich that. Let's try to like add value on top of this and try to grow that as much as possible. And over time, we went from like purely transaction and portfolio to now we have a modular portfolio where you can move your asset. And I can show you more information if you more detail on this. It's going to be easier with this. Confirm, is this one? Yes. I don't know if you can share the image at the same time, but I'll be able to show that. Awesome. So, yep. So as you can see, like we now have like a full dashboard.
This is by the way, this is like the Octav app front page. This is the Octav Pro. What exactly are we seeing?
So this is the Pro version. So this is the app. So if you go to Octav.fi, you'll see our landing page, and then you can connect to pro.octav.fi. So pro.octav.fi. You'll go there. We have a freemium version where you'll see like your own portfolio. We share that for free. You have all the info you want. And then you can kind of add more stuff on top of it. We have a SaaS model system where you buy a license for your addresses. You either have only the portfolio version, or you can also have like the pro version that has also the transaction. And so the idea is that we believe, and over time, like in crypto, we know that it's not everyone loves the same dashboard, right? So that's my dashboard right now. It's a demo, and it's like my dashboard. But if you go and you want to say, well, I actually don't really like this graphic, I don't want to see this one, you can delete it. You can remove this graphic, and you can add more widget. And so that's where like a lot of people will have a different dashboard. If you see a lot of like photo or screenshot of Octav, it's always going to be different because you can build the dashboard that you want depending on what you need. And so that was
very customizable, actually.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, especially now with AI, we see it. People love to vibe code their own system, right? They're like, hey, like I want the data, and like your dashboard is nice, but you don't show me XYZ. And to say, okay, let's not fight trying to fix to please everyone, because it's impossible. Let's build a platform that people can build. And so what happened is now we created a system of widget. And so now we have a ton of widget that you can have. And we're starting to build more relationship also with people. So if I go down, I think I saw that Token Bryce was on one of your chat or one chat of Leviathan News. But as you can see, Token Bryce built Pharos.
I had him on about it last week.
Exactly. So we've built a widget with Token Bryce and say, hey, a lot of people love your data. It's really cool. Let's bring them to Octav so that when people join Octav, they also can have the Pharos dashboard. So if you go here, you have the Pharos stuff. So it's the same one. Everything that Token Bryce do, your score and everything is here. All the score, all the token. This is demo account, but you have everything there. And so that's the idea where you can play with it. So okay, this is cool, but I prefer to have it here. The DPEG feed. I don't need this one, and you can save that. So it kind of the idea go also in line with the decentralization mindset, right? Like if you go to DBank, they're awesome, we love their data, but you see what you see. It's like, well, I would like to see like my Pharos stuff into this. Well, you need to like have Pharos open in DBank. Well, now you can open Octav and you'll have your Pharos and all that. And so the idea was to able to like create infinite amount of stuff on the front end side, so that we focus fully on the data side, because the front end could be beautiful and perfect. If the data is wrong, it's useless. We spoke with a ton of people, a ton of portfolio people, and then they're really popular for the short term of time, and then they disappear. And we often realize it's because they have a nice front end, but the data behind doesn't work. And so that's why at Octav we focus on the data, and in the front end it's kind of like, okay, how can we work with partner? I show you Pharos, but we have WebSC, we have a cow swap integration. Connected directly in Octav.
So you can automatically like swap from the Octav interface?
Yeah. So we don't have a wallet connect on Octav, but the widget itself have one. So if you connect with it, then you can trade there. Now, full warning, because like I just saw recently, like literally like 2 hours ago, someone on the Aave they swapped $50 million, I think, of USDT, and then they got $35,000 of Aave tokens. So always be really careful. But this is the SDK widget of CowSwap. So any company or any product is like, hey, we have a SDK or widget or like a mini app. Can you put that into Octav? Because therefore we bring more value to our user. It's a win-win, right? The platform itself like became kind of like the perfect hub with all what you need. And it's a good like visibility for a project. Token Bryce Pharos, now all our user can use Pharos on this. So that was kind of the idea. And we started to like play a bit with AI. This is brand new, by the way. I think we did not even tweet about this, but you can almost ask anything like, I want the TVL graph of, I don't know if I'm connected, by the way, of Aave. I don't know if I'm connected. I think my Entropic is done. I don't have access to the TVL Grow.
So you connect your own AI and then it works now?
So it's brand new. So bear with me, but you can connect your OpenAI or your Entropic API key. And then you can go on Octav and you're able to talk with it and just ask any question about your portfolio. We have the AI.
Why? That's actually I'm very curious about it. Like, why would you use it through Octav and not just through the AI itself?
Yeah. So with Octav, what we've built is we build a MCP and we build a CLI system. And so when you talk with this Entropic, he already have access to all our data, all our system. So it's a bit more smart than purely on chat. It's kind of like, it's a skill, right? We have a skill, Octav skill also. So we have a CLI, we have a skill, we have an MCP. All of this is already bundled up. You could.
So it's like when you use it through the Octav interface, the AI, you kind of funnel it into like using your own data.
Exactly.
And then, that's nice.
My report, I don't know what it's going to do. I didn't play that much with it, but like they're going to be able to say, okay, this is your portfolio. So that's the network, where it is. And I can ask, that's based on my own data. So it's using Octav data to talk with you. If you say, show my portfolio to a chat, like ChatGPT or Cloud Code, they will not be able to do that because they're not connected, right? And you can do that. Like as a developer, like I said, we have a skill CLI and we have an MCP. So if you want to build your own Cloud Code and everything and have this, you can do this. But at Octav, we wanted to show that. And that's also
what MCP, by the way, what is MCP?
And MCP is, I don't know the acronym correctly, but it's a way for you to like, you install that. It's kind of a skill. People are getting out of it a little bit. They're like focusing on CLI and API, but the MCP would like, it's the right way to communicate with AI. It's a system for the AI to understand how to work with your data, because all the data are formatted differently. And so you need to tell the AI, hey, by the way, the Octav data, this is the format of the Octav data. And so when you have an MCP, you can go on any like AI, you can ask them like, oh, can I have like Octav data? If there's an MCP, they're going to be able to read it. If there's no MCP, they're going to be like, well, let me look at how I can interact with this data. And they're going to have to build their own kind of understanding of the data. So that's really the useful of this. So to go back to Octav, the goal of really like Octav is to be able to give you like the best data for DeFi. And yes, we have a front end to use it. And what I say often to most of our clients, it's a mean to an end. It's to show you what you can do with the data. Like the data is perfect, you can do whatever you want, but what can I do with it? There's a ton of stuff. We have like, this is the free version. So you see, you can have graphic on it if you want. We have reporting also. So your P&L would be here. You can generate also if you want like a report here. And if you want to export it as a PDF or a CSV, you can do it. And so all of this is possible or data, but you need to explore it. The widget board, I think we have like 40 widgets or something like that. Like I don't even like play with all of them. And I'll be honest with you, we now have AI that build widget every day. They're just like, their job is to add more widgets. And so we have some stuff. If you want to have your Dune data, like this is Polygon proof of stake USDC active addresses, you can bring Dune into Octav. So if you want to bring any like DeFi protocol in Octav, it's possible. You want to bring Dune into it, it's possible. If you want to bring Entropic AI or OpenAI, it's possible. We're going to add open code. We're going to add like anything. The idea is that we want to be like the central hub of data where you can build your own dashboard, but your dashboard, not the TVL of Aave or something. What's your dashboard? What it look like? That's really the idea.
Amazing. So you guys, so again, if I understand correctly, you guys are mostly focused on two elements of the equation, if I understand correctly, which are aggregate the best data possible, like and verify it to make sure that first of all, it's about accuracy, that you have like the right stats. Exactly. And then offer like a very customizable way to really for the user to integrate, and then just like have like a big playground for whatever user, and tell them, man, you build it, like you decide how you want it presented and what kind of data you want shown. Yep. We're just like making sure that whatever you decide to search
to show again,
will be as accurate as possible, and that you will have as many possibilities.
That's correct. Possible. Yeah. I want to do something with you, and it's a test, okay?
Yeah.
I've never played with the AI chart, because we have an AI chat which you talk with the data, and the AI chart is supposed to give me the TVL chart of Aave. It's supposed to create, and I've never played with it. My dev are going to be like, Matt, you should have played with this. We're about to release that this week. I think it's going to be like next Monday or Tuesday, so we'll see it. But it's building the chart of Aave. We use DeFi Llama source of data. We use CoinGecko. We use like a bunch of different, and they're going to build There you go. So
Oh
that's the
my
TV.
God.
That's a TVL of Aave directly built from here, and you are able somewhere. Oh yeah, save to dashboard. Boom. There you go. Aave TVL, and you have it. So now, whatever you see on DeFi Llama, anything you want to see, you can bring it here. If you want to bring something from Dune, you can bring it here. So anything you see like that are super powerful tools. I love Dune. I love DeFi Llama. Like these are awesome. But now you can kind of like build your own system, and that's the beauty of it. Now you do this. Okay, I want to like update the chart or whatever. Like everything is here. You can move that. You can build that in any board. And also, by the way, all of these boards, they're you can also move them like have them. So if I want to have new board, I want to say this is Leviathan board. I will create my Leviathan board, and now okay, which chart do you want to have? Well, I want to have, I don't know, like my token overview. Okay, perfect. You have your token overview and it's done. So now I have my token overview in my Leviathan. So you can like build a number of board that you want. And I've shown you like the tip of the iceberg because this is the front end and this is like the main dashboard, but I didn't go in any of these stuff here yet. So.
And by the way, like if a user builds something, this like other users can also access what he built, or is it only like for his own view?
You're taking ahead of us. So that's what we're trying to build right now. It's in progress. The idea is we want to be able to have in the marketplace, in the widget explorer, a way for you to say, hey, this is my main board. This is perfect. I love that. If you want, you can get this board, go on the board explorer and get the board and put it on your system. And so we're bringing that in the next few weeks probably, where you'll be able to like build your board and say, okay, I have my board explorer. Oh, okay, this is the Leviathan news board. I want this one. Click on it. Boom, now you have it. And it will be based on your own data, right? So if someone do a really nice board, but the board is specific to his data, his own addresses, but you arrive and you say, well, I want to have it on my demo address. You bring the board, it's going to fit with your own data. And that's the beauty of this.
That's so cool.
That's really the idea. And
yeah,
so, yeah.
So that's, you know, like whatever someone can build, it's not like what the community can build. You know what I mean? Like there are going to be so many different versions of Octav. I didn't realize that. Like I didn't know that that's one of the things that make you guys so unique. The fact that the data is there, but it's all about what is being displayed and for whom and why.
Yeah.
And it actually relates a lot to another thing I wanted to ask you about, like who is it for, like Octav, and I'm starting to realize that Octav is really for everyone.
Yeah. We work mostly with like asset manager, family office, like I said, like people that their life is there, right? If your life is to manage asset and you want to make sure you track everything correctly, you need a good dashboard. But it's powerful for anyone. You can go and you can use whatever you want here. Now we have like some different level. If you go there, like you'll see the pricing, and I don't want to talk too much about this, but the light version will give you access to like most of the feature that you need. And the pro version is the one that like, if you're really serious about your stuff and you want to grow and like understand everything, that's where you go to the pro version. There's a bit like all the widgets are there. There's a bit more stuff, specifically the transaction. And like I told you, the transaction is where we learn stuff, right? Everything is here. And for example, I don't know, this was a transaction, mBarrel is my own addresses, and then I did something with an invoice. Well, I know it's a safe transaction. I can click on it and I can say, hey, the protocol is not unknown. I know it's safe. And so you're going to search for a safe and you say, hey, this is a safe transaction, and you're going to validate that. What happened is I validate that for myself. So I clean my own information. Now I know it's a safe transaction. It's been validated, but I'm also training the algo. Now they also know that this interaction was done on a safe. Now I can go look, the system will go look at the ABI, they're going to look at the data, the log, the event, to say, okay, what happened during that time? Because one of my users told me it's a safe transaction. Is that true? Is that true or not? And then we can go from there. Like a swap on Palliora, stuff like that. You'll see all of that happen. And so this is where the magic happened. There's a bunch of stuff you can play with it. One crazy thing, you probably receive a ton of spam when you have stuff. If you look, these are all spam. But if I remove them, they disappear from my board because it's being learned by the system. So these tokens, like, I don't know what does that mean, but clearly there's no value. As you can see, $0, they're worth 0. And therefore, no image, no value, and we don't understand what it is. It's going to be a spam. Or we have a ton of people in the community that told us it was a spam, and the system learned that, okay, if so many people tell me it's spam, it's a spam. And we learned from that. And we have system, like, for example, if some bunch of people try to come and trick us and saying this is a spam, there's some system that will protect us against that. But that's the beauty of this, is everyone playing with the platform is actually making the platform better for everyone. So I love to say that Bitcoin is anti-fragile, whereas like the more you try to attack it, the better it gets. The same thing happened with Octav. We're anti-fragile. The more people collaborate, the better we get. The more people attack us, the better we get, because we understand this is a balancer. Okay, let's slash this person, and now we know it's the other way around, and we can grow that way. So that's really the secret sauce behind all the data, is that we learn from everything that happened on Octav, and we're able to get better at that. So that's really like the high level introduction. A few stuff we build, snapshot. I've shown you that the report earlier a little bit. Transaction report, tax-wise. If you do your taxes, you need this. And then we have asset variation. So you can take 2 snapshots. So let's say you say, what did I had like January 1st versus now? You can take these 2 snapshots and compare them. We're going to tell you like, what's the difference between your wallet? But we're also going to tell you, in this difference, what is due to the quantity change or the value change. So if you had 1 ETH at the beginning and you have still 1 ETH, you may have lost $1,000, but it was due to the price. If you have 1 ETH at the beginning and you have 2 ETH after, you've done plus 1 ETH, so quantity plus 1 ETH, that's the change in the value, and then the price have an impact, because there's 2 impact always. And so this stuff is really useful for a lot of asset manager. They want to know what was the position, should it have a hold or not, other stuff. So these are the report that we generate. Some automation, we have some rule. The rule are to categorize the transaction automatically. That's where we go and we can categorize everything. And we have some public treasury. So we work with a bunch of people, ENS, Beefy, Palliora, Metronome. These are all like either client, or they use part of it, or they have their own dashboard, and we build that for them. And then therefore you can go and see them. I think if I click, it's going to open a new one. So I'm not going to be able to show it, but I can show you like the Beefy one if you want. Let me share let me switch sharing. Can I do? Yeah, replace. There you go. So see, this is the Beefy dashboard. Shout out to Beefy. Jack there is one of a good friend. We work with him a lot. Super nice guy. And so Beefy wanted to have like a really public dashboard of their treasury and to be able to show what they have. So we built that for them. They have all of that. They choose what they wanted to put on the dashboard. Like I said, special dashboard for them. And then they have everything there. They have the program revenue. They have the revenue, that they have all the reports. So anyone at Beefy DAO can go and say, how much did they make last month, or like 2 months ago, or 2 days ago, and so on. And they have everything there. And then in the transaction, Beefy are completely insane on this. They have a lot of category in the system. So everything will be categorized automatically in the system. There's a lot of, I can go probably a few pages later on to see. I don't know when was the last time they categorized everything, but the transaction will be categorized. I don't see them now. You'll see that here. Jack, you did not categorize everything. Anyway, you'll see it, but there's category that will automatically be placed here, and notes. So you can put something, you can say, I pay this client, and this is the category. And by doing so, it's public for people to understand why there was 101 Beefy getting out of the treasury. You can see that with a note and all that. So that's kind of the idea, where we can build stuff with client also. We work with Resolve and stuff like that. So,
and again, like you say, that like another team can choose to show their own treasury, but in a completely different way. Like,
exactly.
with different metrics, whatever they customize and decide to show.
That's correct. We have a ton of like different here. So yeah, that's correct. That's the idea. And the last thing I'll say is the API system.
That's very unique. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, the last thing I say is the API. So like we have an API. A lot of people have been using us. I'll say the same thing to everyone. Like if you look at the DBank price, it's going to be, I think it's like few cents, 1 cent or whatever. If you look at Octav price, a bit more. But when you buy Octav, you're actually buying DBank and DeFi Llama and Llama Folio, and so it's kind of an aggregated version, so you have better data. And that's why we really like working with more institutional people. I'll say our client are using our API to ping us every 5 minutes on all their address to see what's happening. Is there anything I need to move quickly or not? So that's really the idea here.
Man, I haven't realized how unique what you guys are building, actually. I was mostly noticing the insane amount of announcements that you guys have. It's like every time I open X, and I open X quite a lot, I must say, But all of a sudden, ever since I started actually following you guys, it's like, you know, a few times a day, basically. Okay, Octav is now tracking this. Octav is now tracking that.
Yeah.
Octav is tracking every logo out there built by Atlas.
Yeah.
Octav, by the way, one of the things I've really noticed and was very curious about was the fact that you also show balances on sexes.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, like we decided to have centralized exchange. I don't have any account on centralized exchange, so I cannot show you. I don't have anything.
But it's also very unique because, like, you know, I
Yeah.
know these like on-chain tools that show stuff that like with link to a specific address, for example, or maybe even a batch of addresses or whatever. But like, how do you also aggregate like a sex address even? You know?
Yeah. So we created a virtual balance system. So I don't want to go too technical, but like the idea is that your Octav account is kind of your master hub. And then when you have a centralized exchange, we create a virtual address. So it's an address that's associated to your hub. And then this address holds all your centralized exchange information. And so that's how you would create a centralized exchange system. And therefore you are able to track all your DeFi, but now also centralized exchange. And we're coming with more soon. I don't want to leak too much stuff, but it's going to be more than centralized exchange. We're growing into like almost everything, so it should be really interesting.
You're making me guess that it's going to be like what people have on their banks as well now.
Maybe we're going to have some more stuff about the bank stuff coming soon. Mostly because people, like crypto is being a lot more close to traditional market, banking. We see a lot of tokenized stock and all that, so people now want to see their broker account at the same time as the crypto account. And so we're like, okay, well, maybe we can bring that in always the same mindset of how can we build that with accurate data, and how can we build that the community can help us build around that and grow and get better data over time. That's really the idea. And fun fact, you've discussed about the logo stuff. I just want to shout out to AJ, because the crazy thing about AI, and you say we push everything, but the beauty of AI is also this: everyone at Octav now push new stuff every day. And so we've built this. I don't know if I don't. It's probably gonna have a ton of stuff on this, but
you know, for me, this part can actually be very useful because I often need the logos of.
So as you can see, like any token, you get it, and you have the information. You have like which ranking is on CoinGecko, the price of it, the image, and there's also like an API connected to it if you want to have an API. So we built that. Well, AJ built that because at Octav I was asking him like, hey, can you give me the sticker because we need to put it there and we need to update this value and all this. He's like, okay, let's build something. And so we build it and we push it, and you say, wow, okay, my BD lead is actually pushing code now. So now everyone is pushing code, and that's how we can release something daily and like more than once a day now, because we have a ton of people. We have a really like a big system. Shout out to Charlie, my dev. He built what's called Dorothy. And I don't want to go too deep into this, and we can talk later on this, but Dorothy is a orchestrator for AI. And so we're able to control like multiple AI at the same time building on Octav, and that's how we accelerate. And so this is how AJ was able to build that really quickly. So
again, because you say that the dev himself built something called Dorothy, which is a combination of AIs.
Yeah, so Dorothy AI, I didn't want to go too much into this. I'll show you the image. It's if you go on Dorothy AI, DorothyAI.app, it's something that we built internally at Octav.
Cool.
It came out of the need at Octav to manage multiple agents together at the same time. And so we built Dorothy. Well, Charlie built that for himself. And then he showed that to me one day, and I'm like, dude, we need to push that and grow that. And so now everyone at Octav has a Dorothy. We laugh about Dorothy is the one that managed Claude. That's kind of how we created that. And now we use that, and then you can control multiple AI agents at the same time. So we are integrated with like Cloud, Codec, Gemini, Olama, because you can run local LLM also. So if you have your own stack of Mac Mini, and you can run. And then as you can see, I have 6 Cloud Code at the same time, and I can talk with all of them together. We have memory, we have system around that. So it's kind of our internal tool, and the more we build around that, the better like it gets, and the more we push it to people. So it's now available only on Mac right now.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to ask that, but like, isn't this like a bigger product than the Octav itself?
So it's really useful. It's a nice project. Yes, I agree. it's a lot less complex than Octav database in the background, but it looked like it looked really cool. So, and it's really, really useful. So, but yeah, feel free. Like we work fully open source for this one. So Dorothy is open source. We use all of that. Is the tooling that we use to build Octav and to accelerate Octav. So that's why we push it to everyone and say, let's see if we can help people. So,
man, that's so cool. I didn't realize like how unique what you guys are working at in Octav. Like, there are so many like data exploring tools these days, and like you guys are really offering what seems to be a very unique approach of aggregating the data and being able to customize it, which I wasn't expecting, actually. So it's actually very remarkable, and shout out to you guys. Like, what would you say is like, talk to me about the ethos of, like you founded this company. You've actually, you say that you started at Zapper in a way about this like specific.
I won't say that. I will not say that.
No. I'm not saying that you are the one starting Zapper. I'm saying that your own journey within like this field of like
data,
DeFi data started for yourself at Zapper, but then like you've shifted because you saw that you have like your own vision of like the kind of data and like the kind of approach, I guess, that you are looking for with like the whole data industry. What would you say is like your ethos about the whole thing, like the approach, like the overview, the macro view of like what you're here to do?
Yeah, I think like a bit like when I joined crypto, when I started in crypto really early, like it was because I was like, okay, some people don't have the same access to banking and everything to me. And the reason why they don't have access to all of this, it's just because they were born in another country. It's not because they don't deserve it, they're less brilliant or less intelligent or whatever. No, it's just because they were born in another country. And so to me, crypto, that was kind of the first go-to, right? It's gonna sound cheesy, but in it for the tech and the fact that like I'm in it to be able to like change how the entire ecosystem work and the entire financial market work, to be able to make sure that everyone play on the same level field, right? Like how can everyone have access to everything? And at the beginning, crypto was really for this, right? It started in 2009 after the 2008 crash. And the goal was like, stop the bank system, because the banking system is not fair and just for everyone. And so it's the same mindset for Octav. Our idea is how can we like push that? Now we are a business, therefore, I charge something for my system. But the more we grow and the better it is, the better the data is, the more the community grow around us, the better we're able to reduce our costs and also like kind of give back to the system. Simple stuff where like we used to have license that were at minimum 5K per year. And now you can go in Octav and buy $10 of credit and play with the data. Because when we started at 5K, it was institutional people, hedge fund and all this, because I needed to like pay for the data, right? But now there's so many people that I'm able to reduce the cost and say, well, you know what? If you are just a retail hobbyist, like vibe coder person, and you need the best data, well, just call Octav and you can buy $10 of credit and you're going to have the best data. You're going to have the best data than the guy at the hedge fund that like generate 20 million a year of profit or whatever. And so that's kind of my mindset, is like, how can we bring this data to everyone in a nice manner, in a cheap way also. And so the idea is, how can we build Octav as much as possible in that direction? And so the guy at Octav, like we've worked like crazy hour. We love what we do. We've been in crypto since forever. I have an employee at Octav. His name is Bitwonka. It's a frog. Shout out Bitwonka. He's anonymous. No one at Octav have ever seen him. No one know his real name. His name is Bitwonka, and that's it. And it totally fit with our ethos of we're OG in crypto, and we believe that crypto is here to help everyone have access to all the financial system at the same level field. And that's really the ethos at Octav, is how can we build that for everyone?
That's extremely cool, I must say, because often that's not the approach that organizations actually take often, especially within workers and stuff like that. But this is really fascinating to think about. And also the fact, like, I remember the days when I used to look at Nansen, for example, and just to see, like, I remember I was really a noob back then. I was like, oh my God, like they want like 15K or whatever. I don't know what it was, like, to get to reach data. And I was like, oh my God, what kind of a data they show there? And I think that you guys are now, like, with this approach of, okay, oh yeah, you know what, you can probably get this data for like $10 because now it's aggregated differently and it's offered differently. So really, this whole industry of data tools is changing dramatically, and like, it's like a microcosm of the industry itself, just to follow the data.
It is a big world. Like Nansen are like they were like really big, but like you said, it was super expensive. And what happened is some people started to kind of share the login, and it was like, oh, then Nansen was trying to fight against this, and how can we have like one login? And then, like, instead of trying to say, oh, how can we make this data more available? And it's super expensive, don't get me wrong. Like, I know it from data perspective. Having this data is super expensive. So at one point there's a cost somewhere. But it's good to be able to say, how can we build that to make it as much as possible available for everyone? And it also aligned with DeFi Llama, right? DeFi Llama do so many stuff. Everything is like kind of free. Now they had a pro version that we can go buy and stuff like that. But that's kind of the idea, is like, how can we bring this data? Because data is crucial for everything in life. If you want to take a decision, you need to have the right data to do this decision. And so that's why it's important to have the same access to all this data. So
and also I agree with your general approach. I think that, like, for different users, different types of data are important. Like, one user is searching for this kind of stuff, and that's what's most important to them. And the other can really not care, and they want like a whole other stuff to make their own decision, because I guess that data is mostly about decision making, and people need like different types of data in order to make the decisions relevant to them, and to really take the role of being the hub that allows all that is very remarkable, I must say, and shout out to you guys. How many people work at Octav, by the way?
Pretty small team. We're 6 guys right now.
We grow a little bit. Small. Relatively, it's really small.
I now joke a lot. We're 6 guys, but we have 20 agents. So we're 26 at the company. If you want to have an idea, because we have a lot of AI running full time. We bought our own Mac Studio, and we have AI that run 24/7 on the system, that they just try to build some stuff. And us human, pure simple human, we go and we try to look at like what they've built, and can we bring that to Octav? Can we refine that? And we bring that. So I often said we have 6 employees, but 20 agents, so we're 26.
So by the way, the agents, they're like OpenClaw stuff, or what is it?
They're Dorothy. That's why we built Dorothy.
Okay.
OpenClaw was too like dangerous, because you put it and it can control to everything. It wasn't organized enough, and so that's why we built that. We built another project called Tasmania. It's to run local LLM on your laptop. So we have a Tasmania. It's connected to Dorothy, and it can run and do whatever they want. So we can talk with them on Telegram. We can talk with them on Slack, and so we've built our own kind of employee circle of agent, and then we can use them to kind of accelerate the development of Octav. And so right now, like most of my developers, they say now I'm more a product manager, a QA guy, or a system engineer than a developer, because development is being done by a bunch of agents. And we can go and say, okay, well, this makes sense, let's push this. We always make sure that it passed through us to make sure that the data, we're stuck to compliance, because we have clients that are institutional. So all of this need to be really clean, but the generation of idea is being done by a ton of agents.
That's so cool, man. Like the I don't even know how to phrase it. Like the world and the way business and work is done is literally being changed in front of our
every day. Every day change, so it's good.
Yeah, I know some like devs, for example, and they tell me like how the new development, mostly with OpenClaw, I think I'm noticing it, like the person. It's really changing like a lot of how they work and do. And just like you say, all of a sudden they have like their own employees doing stuff for them because they just created these agents which are now working full time for them, and it's actually crazy. Like I see, and I see it like from so many different angles. Like I work with Frankencoin, the Swiss franc stablecoin project. Shout out to Johannes. So Johannes is also very much into AI. He's built like his own like AI personal assistant. Okay. And now we have groups with that personal assistant in, and you can ask him stuff, and he delivers data, and he's like another worker, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is like this agent is working much better than me. Like I don't even know what to do. And basically, like my friend, which is a dev, working on his own protocol, all of a sudden he's building his own like agent, which now delivers. And now today I actually used X because his agent is also on X. I started asking him, the agent, I started asking him questions on X, like to compare these different protocols. And, he's given me a better answer and more quickly than anyone, any person could have worked.
That's the future. That's the future.
It's the present in a way,
Yeah. It's the present for sure. Yeah,
it's quite insane. I wanted to ask you another thing actually. Why Octav? Why is it called Octav? Is there a reason?
Yeah. So, like I said, the first thing was to help on tax, and Octavian, Octavian, is the emperor that invented the taxation system, and Octavian. And then a little bit like, the Facebook became Facebook. We say Octavian is too complicated. Let's just switch that to Octav, and that's it. And so we became Octav.
So Octavian is like a Roman emperor that invented it?
Yeah. You can go.
What time was it? Like, when was that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Like, is it early on in the Roman Empire, or
probably early because they were like the one that pushed on the taxation system? But yeah, it was one of the person that like kind of pushed for that, and so yeah.
I'm happy I asked because this is really not the kind of answer I was expecting. But
that's why.
By the way, this is actually a family name I've encountered a few times, the Octavian.
Yeah, we've also like seen like one of our client name is Octavian, so
yeah, like the now you say that this is like the taxation family.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, man, this is actually very interesting. What else should I have asked and haven't?
I think we can talk for like 3-4 hours. Like, so with Yapper, I see the live chrono about an hour now. There's so many stuff. I'll be happy to jump back on another podcast of another hour for sure. I mean, like I said, like for us, the idea is we're building for everyone, and we're trying to like bring the data to everyone. And so if you guys like are looking to get something from a data provider, jump on our Discord, tag us on X, talk to me on Telegram, and like we'll happy to like add you to our marketplace, work with you, bring the data, and see like where does that bring us in the data world of sharing that. So
the direct communication with the community you guys do on Telegram mostly?
We have a Discord. It's pretty calm because we mostly use Telegram. But yeah, Twitter, X, or Telegram, or Discord is where it's all on our website. At the bottom, you have access to our
and the website, if I remember correctly, is octav.fi. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, octav.fi. That's correct.
Man, Mathieu, thank you so much for your time. I actually really enjoyed it. I think you're a brilliant man, and much respect for the diligence and the vision and the ability to really like go for it and assemble the whole thing and create such a remarkable tool that I'm really understanding that I should be exploring much more, and can be really useful for so many different people, and in so many like different like whether free users or whether users who really want to put like significant funds into it. Like there's so many different things that you can do with it, and so many features being delivered and stuff. Actually fascinating, to be honest. Looking forward for some updates and wherever. Where can people find you? I think it's mbarrel010.
Yep, 010.
010.
Yeah, that's me on Twitter. So mbarrel010. Send me a follow. I'll be happy to follow back. And then you can DM me on Twitter, and then you can also like reach out to me on Telegram. On Telegram, it's also mbarrel010. So
much respect, man. Really appreciate you being so responsive and so quickly willing to come on the show and share about Octav. I think you're building something quite beautiful and remarkable, and I commend you for it, as they say. Thank you so much for joining. Let me just give another shout out to Palliora, the winners of the SQUID Pass. Let me just pop it up on screen again and give them another shout out before we wrap it up. So Palliora, superagency for human AI coordination. Share, monetize, and compute privately on your data with selective disclosure, verifiable results, and fair rewards. You can explore the testnet and read the white paper on their website, which is palliora.org, P-I-L-L-I-O-R-A. Thank you so much for choosing Leviathan News, folks. And shout out to Arcus, who made the great intro video, which I also use as an outro. So I will pop it up. And thank you so much again, Mathieu, for joining. And talk to you soon, man.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
それはレバヤさんニュースだ。デセットライズだ。逃げろ。誰でもトできる。誰でもスキルを稼げる。ガバナンスまである。中集権のメディアはもう終わりだ。
真相から